I wanted to create something which I was going to enjoy. And you know, when I travel around Northumberland, you observe things and you look at things that you like and would like to put into practice, if possible, on your land. It's quite nice to think that I'm doing my little bit, like perhaps Capability Brown did, or like Cragside or Armstrong did back in the day.
Lone Newton Hall Farm is a 22-acre small holding adjoining a former coal mine and the A1. Since Judith began planting in 2001, she has added blocks, hedgerows and infield trees of native species. In this episode, she talks about adding more trees whilst maintaining her grazing and how trees can be acoustic barriers and absorb pollution. We are the Great Northumberland Forest, a project to plant millions of trees, creating more wooded landscapes across Northumberland by 2030. Trees offer a range of benefits for you, your land and your business, so whether you want to diversify your income, increase biodiversity, improve soil and water health or reduce carbon in the atmosphere, trees can play a big part. We are determined to leave a better, more diverse and more productive natural environment for future Northumbrians.
The woodland was planted in, I think it was possibly 2002, the winter 2001-2002. It's really quite remarkable how quickly the trees have established. I wanted to create something which I was going to enjoy, and it would also leave, I guess, a legacy for the future. So I was very much guided by the advice that I was given in terms of species to plant. And they not only consisted of trees, but it also consisted of some of the smaller blackthorn. Not many, it was predominantly trees, but there were one or two blackthorn.
Adding that kind of scrub and shrub layer in amongst it as well.
That's right. I decided that as the fencing was going to be renewed, I would like to plant hedgerows. And that was planted alongside the time of the new fencing. Obviously it was native, mixed hedgerows. I incorporated quite a lot of crabapple trees. That was a personal preference. I also created a pond, a wildlife pond, in a dip, in a natural basin within one of the field areas. The pond is very established now and it attracts, obviously, wildlife.
Have you also been doing sort of infield tree planting, and can you tell us a bit more about that?
Yes, the park trees, as I would call them, they're a future vision. And you know, when I travel around Northumberland, you observe things and you look at things that you like and would like to put into practice, if possible, on your land. So it's a case of taking advice from people to see whether the soil's suitable and what varieties might grow or not grow. And through the Northumberland Forest, there are some more parkland trees to plant in a different field, and also to enhance a handful that I had planted possibly about 6 years ago.
Yeah.
In terms of vision, it has to be a vision, because I can't ever think that they will grow to the size of looking like a park tree that I will be able to see. So that has got to be a vision for another generation, which is quite nice. It's quite nice to think that I'm doing my little bit, like perhaps Capability Brown did, or like Cragside or Armstrong did back in the day, you know.
And so for your, obviously the woodland and the hedgerows are fenced. For the parkland and the kind of infield trees, are you finding them to do additional protection, like tree cages, to make sure they establish and get away?
Yes, and through Northumberland Forest, a new way of planting parkland trees. I'm saying new, perhaps it isn't new, but it's new to me. I have only planted a single tree surrounded by a gourd prior, but through this particular woodland scheme, we are making a triangle and planting 3 trees in a triangle.
You said at the start that you've had advice from where to go and how to do that. If a landowner doesn't know where to start, what would you advise them to do?
I think that I think initially to have a vision yourself, to have some sort of idea what you would like, both for now and for the future, what you want to create. I then think that possibly to talk to someone who has either done some work, or to talk to someone who can advise you, a specialist in terms of the trees that are going to establish quickly, the trees that are going to do well. And obviously buying local trees, you're going to get ones which have grown up, if you like, in the climate in which we're accustomed to up here, which of course is very different to other parts of the country. I think as well, your ideas change in terms of what I would like to see, what I would like to do. Looking around and taking in ideas from other places, all contributed to what I have done and what I would like to see happen in the future.
So keen to understand why you've done all of this tree planting and woodland management, and kind of what have been the drivers behind it?
I think partly to do with the area that I'm situated. I am bounded on one side by the A1 and I'm bounded on the other side by a disused coal mine. The A1 produces an awful lot of pollution, obviously by the nature of living next to a major road. And I wanted to try and create a sound barrier, something that would absorb the pollution, looking at the carbon, you know, a mixture of things really, and how I could achieve that. I do consider myself to be a very, very lucky person to live and be privileged enough to live in what I term is a lovely place, and I want to contribute to that and add to it if I can, you know, thinking for the future. It's, you know, a lot of this won't be in my lifetime, but it'll be future generations who I would like to think will benefit from what I have done. For people who aren't sure what to do, which way to go, I certainly recommend that you talk to people and look what's available, look what funding streams there are. It's a big commitment, it can be a big outlay. You can partly fund some of it, but you know, it needs to be supported. And I think by having the support financially, that can also lead on to support in terms of expertise and just talking to people. People know other people and know experts that can help and feed into your particular project, enhance your project, enhance ideas.
Well, thank you for joining me, Judith, for the Great Northumberland Forest chat and hearing about your site near Alnwick. If you would like to hear about a particular aspect of tree planting, we'd love to hear. We work with sites at all scales across the breadth of the county. So if you have land in Northumberland and trees will help you or nature, please get in touch. You can reach us on our email at inquiries.forest@northumberland.gov.uk, or you can call us on 01670 625 002.